This is National 5 revision and we're looking at percentages. This should help you with your study plan for January-February assessments. We've got three different types of percentage questions here. We'll go for the first one right away, okay? So you can try the questions before I get to them and just watch a video afterwards or just check your solution at the end. But let's go with this one. So Mick and Catherine bought a flat costing £55,000 and sold it for £85,500 several years later. Calculate the percentage appreciation on the flat. So if we're going to try and do that, what we need to do is find out the amount that they actually made on the flat, or the appreciation, and that's the amount of pounds that they're going to make. So first thing I'm going to work out is the appreciation. So the appreciation is going to be the what they sold it for, their selling price, and the price that they actually bought it for. Okay, so it's really selling price, and we'll take away the buying price. We'll just call it, okay. You know what they bought it for before. So the way that that's going to work out is we're going to go for 85,500. Okay, we'll subtract from that 55,000, and what we should get from that, we should get, let's go for it. There we go. So 30,500. So that's the amount of money that they actually made on the flat. We have to work out the percentage appreciation. So the percentage appreciation that we're going to work out, appreciation, I'll just shorten that. That's going to be equal to the appreciation, and that's the pounds, all divided by the buying price, or the old, I'm going to call it the old value of the flat, so what they actually bought it at. And then when I get that, I'm going to multiply it by 100, and we'll do this on the calculator. Right, so what I've got is the appreciation, or the amount of money they made, was 30,500. I'm going to divide that by the old value, or what they bought the flat at, which was 55,000. I'm going to multiply that by 100, and that there should give me my percentage. So let's go and do it in the calculator. Right, so I'm going to set up the fraction button. So it's going to be 30,500. On the bottom, what we'll go for is we'll go for 55,000. Move the cursor along, and then we'll multiply by 100, which just changes that fraction into a percentage, and that gives me that answer there. So that gives me a fraction. Press the SD button that's just down at the bottom on the SD button, and that should give me 55 and a recurring decimal, a double-digit decimal that's there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press the SD button again, and that should get rid of that recurring decimal, and that gives me that answer. So I'm going for 55.4545. I'm just going to write that all down. That there is the percentage, okay? So that there's our percentage. But what we've been asked to do in this question, remember, is we've been asked to give the answer to three significant figures. Always make sure you check the question that we're going to do. So three significant figures, first one, second one, third one. I'm going to think about a line getting drawn there. That 5 is going to round that 4 up to a 5. So my answer is going to be 55.5% to three significant figures. So I've just got that one up. Zoomed in on this one, so it's trying to let you see the question a wee bit clearer. But that's the working that we've got there, working out the percentage appreciation. Okay, so that's the first type of question that we've got. Try to zoom out a wee bit more. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to question B. So for B, what we've got is we've got Mr. and Mrs. Pollard bought a brand new car costing £18,000. In each of the following 2 years, as you would expect, that the value depreciates, or the value of the car goes down, and it's going down by 15% in each of these years, okay? In real life, it would probably be different, the depreciation. How much was the car worth after 2 years? So I've got 2 years calculations to do. So first way I'm going to do that, I'm going to start with the value at the start. Okay, so value at the start, okay, is equal to, I'm just going to say that that's our £18,000. Okay, so what I'm then going to work out is I'm going to go for my year 1 depreciation. I'll just call it depreciation, okay, dep, okay, depreciation, and that's going to be at 15% of the 18,000 that's up above, okay? So what we can do is we can either do that with the calculator or do it kind of mentally. So 10%, all I do is drop the decimal point into here, so that give me 1800. I get a 5%, which would be half of 1800, and that'd be 900. And if I add these two together, so 1800 and 900, that gives me 2700. So 2700, okay? Or if I'm doing it on the calculator, all we'll do is we'll go for 15%. So 15 divided by 100, okay, 15% that is, and then just multiply that by the value, and that would give us an answer there, 2700 or 2700, okay? So that's in pounds. Okay, so at the end of the year, that's how much they're going to lose. So I'd be then thinking about the value after 1 year, value after 1 year. And I'll just take that away from the 18,000. That should give me 15, and that's going to be 300. If I've got a calculator, I can just use the calculator to check that. Right, so I'll go for year 2 depreciation. Year 2 depreciation, and that's at 15%. And remember that's our new value we're going to choose. So 15% of, and that's 15,300. Okay, so again, straight on the calculator, or we could work it out mentally. So what we've got 10% is going to be 1530. Okay, so I'm just moving my decimal point into there. Half of 1530 should be £765. If I add them together, I should get a value of 2295. That should be 2295. Okay, let's just double check that in the calculator. So what we've got is 15 divided by 100. So if I don't put it in fraction form, I can just go for 15, okay, divided by 100, and we're multiplying that by the value. I think it was 15,300. I'm sure it was. I think that's what it was. Yeah, okay. And that equals 2295. 2295. So this is my answer that's going to be here. So the car's value after the 2 years, is going to be equal to, and I'll just subtract that, and that should give me my final answer. So let's go, if I subtract that from that, that should give me 13,005. Okay, so 13,005 pounds, and that should be my final answer there. Okay, so I'm going to show you a different way of doing that as well. So a different way we can do it, just get a different pen. So there's a kind of quick way of doing a lot of this type of work, especially if it's quite a significant number of years. So what we'll do is we'll start with, let's see, we'll do it or this way here. So the value after 2 years, so I'm going to go and calculate it directly. So the value after 2 years is going to be equal to, okay? And the way I'm going to work that out, I'm going to say it's going to be the starting value. So it's a starting value. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that by a decimal, okay? That decimal is going to be, it's going to work out to be, if I take it 100% is what the car was worth at the start, we're going to take 15% away from that. So I know that if I take 15% away from 100%, what I should be left with is 85%. Okay, but 85%, if I think of that as a decimal number, dividing it by 100 will give me 0.85. So that's my decimal number that I'm going to multiply it by. If I multiply that by 0.85, I should end up with the value after 1 year. But because it's 2 years, I'm going to put a power button in, and that's going to be to the power of 2. So that's the number of years that I've got there. So if it was 5 years, I'd put a 5 there. If it was 10 years, I'd put a 10 there. Sometimes mortgages are 25 years. So this calculation here works out well for some bigger numbers and more years, rather than doing an extensive list here. Right, let's go and see if this works out. So starting value started at £18,000. We'll multiply that by 0.85 to the power of 2, or squared, and then I should get my answer. So in the calculator, so if you can see it there, 18,000 multiply that by 0.85, because that's the value that it's left with at the end of every year. I'll put it to the power of 2, so I've got a wee square button there, press equals, bang, there's my answer there. Okay, so that's going to be my answer there. Okay, so these answers are tied up, so they're the same thing. Okay, this works well when you've got an appreciation question where it would be a 1 point something would be your answer. But you can check out some other videos on appreciation and how that works out. Right, last question. Let's finish this one off. Right, what we've got here is we've got the value of an antique vase appreciates by 12 point, well not 12 point, it's 12.5%. It is now worth £765. And how much was a vase worth before? So this type of question here we need to recognise as being a reversing the change type question. So what I'm going to be trying to do is to work out what was the value before it had that increase of 12.5%, and I'm going to write it as 12.5. Okay, 12.5%. Okay, so if I think about it, so if that's 12.5%, I'm going to say that the value of the vase just now, so the vase is now worth, okay, it's now worth, and I'm going to put in a percentage here. So I'm going to say that it's now worth, and it was worth 100% before its rise, so 100% plus the 12.5%, so that's going to be 112.5%. So okay, so it's increased its value by 12%. So that there is just 100% plus 12.5%. And I know that that's equal to, I know its value as well. So I know the percentage now, and I know that it's equal to £765. Right, so reversing the change, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what 1% is, doing a bit of ratio work. So if I find out what 1% is, and the way I find out what 1% is, I'm going to divide this value here by that number that's sitting there, no matter what it is. Okay, so I'm going to divide that by 112.5. Okay, I'm going to get an answer for that there. Once I get that answer, I'm going to try and work out what 100% is, and all I'm going to do is with that answer that's there, I'm going to times it by 100, and what I should get is the value after the vase was worth before the rise that was there. Right, let's go and work this out, okay? Use the calculator for this one. So what we've got here is, we'll work out the first bit. So I've got 765. I'm going to divide it by 112.5. And that's going to give me an answer of 6.8. So I'm dealing with money, so that must be £6.80. Okay, so that's £6.80 that will be there. So that's £6.80. I'm going to just multiply that by 100. Okay, and that's just going to give me 680. So there we go. So that's the value of the vase there. So I'll just make a final statement that that's the value of the vase before the increase. Okay, so the value of vase before increase is £680. Okay, I've not been asked to round anything, so I'm just going to leave it the way that is there. So 3 kind of different questions that we've got there. It's a wee bit kind of squashed up in the working that I've got there, but hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of how to do the 3 different type of questions here on percentages. Okay.